So today on Yeti at Large, we're doing part 2 of searching for a tow vehicle to pull our fifth wheel.
Hi, and welcome to Yeti at Large. This is a channel focused on making the most out of what you have, no matter where you're at. Thanks for tuning in and helping out.
Now at this point, I'm pretty jaded about market conditions, prices, and availability. Like I said before, I'm looking for a 1-ton truck, single rear wheel, and gas powered. That's a bit of a unicorn, I get that. I found a dually with 35,000 miles, a 2015 gas powered dually. I never thought they even built that. They wanted way too much money and they were a typical dealership, so they lost my interest quickly. The first truck I looked at, they refused to replace a rear leaking main seal and they refused to come down $2,000. I'm done looking at that. I'm on my way to another dealership in Central Arizona, Cottonwood, Arizona today. I've got a long day of driving ahead of me, and we're going to look at a diesel. Now, even my own kid, that's all his stuff in the trailer behind me, we're relocating it all to a storage unit in the Prescott area to make it more convenient for him when he's on shore leave. Even my own kid wants me to get a diesel. Now, I really don't know if I want to get involved in diesel, and the first and foremost seems like there's been a war on diesel with the prices at the pump the last year and a half. Prices are pretty good right now, but we'll see where they go. The other thing is, I'm a good mechanic, but I don't know diesels. I don't know injectors. I don't know glow plugs. I don't know fuel water separators. I don't know oil changes. I've heard some horror stories that every other oil change on a diesel can cost almost $700 by the time you replace all the filters. Now, I'd quickly learn how to do it myself, but the lack of good diesel mechanics coast to coast and the hardship I'm hearing some people, it's really scaring me. And again, part of my rationale is it comes down to foot-pounds of torque that the motor creates for towing. If you look at a 1-ton truck, the running gear is identical between the diesel and the gas. It just comes down to those foot-pounds of torque and sometimes a superior transmission. I could easily put a centrifugal supercharger on a 6.0 gas engine and a few basic modifications with a shift kit to the transmission, and I'm going to have in the neighborhood of 570 to 650 foot-pounds of torque out of a gas engine based on the programming.
So this loop that I'm doing today, basically from Flagstaff down to Prescott, up and over Mingus Mountain through Jerome and Cottonwood, back to I-17, has some amazing sights on the side of the road. It also gives you time to think about how good you take care of your equipment. If you ever want a torture test to truly know what your truck and trailer are set up and capable of, this is as good a route as any. We gain and lose thousands of feet of elevation several times over just under a 200-mile loop. We do everything from 2-lane divided highway above 7,000 feet to 2-lane twisty mountain roads that drop down to about 3,000 feet in the Verde Valley. Gives me time to really think about what setup I want.
Well, here we are at the Chevy dealership in Cottonwood, Arizona to look at a used 1-ton diesel. Let's go.
Are you both?
I am.
You're both.
Push
Nice to
button.
meet you.
Yeah, thank you. So 2015. Yeah, I'd love the PDI, the pre-delivery inspection report, and the reconditioning report. That was a very refreshing sales experience. So I'm at a Chevy dealership in Cottonwood, Arizona. Sales gal who is brand new at the business. She's already had 4 sales under her belt, so she's off and running. And to have a car salesperson know what they don't and to demonstrate that they know what they don't was so refreshing to me. I am going to make a prediction that this sales gal is going to go great places selling cars to people, and she is like a sponge. She is going to learn. Now, I don't know diddly about diesels, but I know what I don't. And we were able to share some of that. And her family experiences, she's got diesel mechanics. Her tío and her abuelo are heavy diesel guys. And so she's aware of the differences and respectful of those, but didn't try to pretend that she knew what the differences were and tried to make a sale. I'm scared of diesel. I'm not afraid to admit that. There's a lot of burdens that diesel brings that I don't know if I want to tackle, with DEF, injectors, pressure pumps, filters, oil changes, the weight penalty where it subtracts from your cargo. I don't know about that, but I just test drove a 2015 with 34,000 miles on it from Canada. It came out of Alberta through Twin Falls, Idaho. My pops lives up in Twin Falls, Idaho, so that kind of makes a little connection there. It was the cleanest, sharpest, best driving truck I've had yet. Now, it's in the ballpark of, $60,000, give or take a few bucks. That might wind up being a bit rich for my blood, knowing that the exact same gasoline truck is going to be closer to 50. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'll tell you what, if I was going to buy a diesel and I was going to buy a truck, this dealership, she's going great places.
While I was impressed with the honesty, integrity, and the work ethic of the sales individual that I dealt with, I was not impressed with the leadership and the management. It quickly became a very typical automotive dealership experience. I said in the earlier notes that I'd asked for some vehicle history, inspection, paperwork, reconditioning cost, and they told me none of that was available, only to later find out that the vehicle came from one of their sister dealerships out of Canada. I did, though, looking through the glove box, find the original window sticker, which is rare to find in a used car, and I discovered that it was sold in Canada 2015 July for $77,635. Knowing that the Canadian dollar back then didn't have the same purchasing power, I did the math, and if I'm correct, that's about a $100,000 truck before tax, title, and docks. So there's been significant depreciation on this vehicle. I do see where Kelley Blue Book, when searching this vehicle by VIN and giving them credit for having excellent condition on the vehicle, is a little bit lower than they are with their sticker price. This truck has been on their lot since 2022, so it tells me that it is a bit high on the price, or it would have been snatched up right away. Somebody who's a pro diesel, 1-ton single rear wheel axle kind of guy, this truck is a bit of a unicorn. For the right price, I think it could make a very happy and forever home. One of the things that was frustrating for me, though, is the sales manager had said they were into it, quote, air quotes, for $59,000 and some change, and that's the retail price he was looking for. Now, when he says he was into it, I believe that was the price that the corporate dealership hierarchy expected of them. A good trade-in value for this truck based on internal metrics was about $40,000. That's what I believe the cash outlay that they were into it. At that point, they have reconditioning cost, transportation cost, sales commissions, etc., that they need to recoup. I'm not going to fault them for that, but a really good deal on this truck was somewhere between $52,000 and $56,000, knowing that tax, title, and docks is going to be another $5,500 to $6,500 on that vehicle in that municipal tax structure. Interesting. I don't think this is the truck for me, but I was impressed at the honesty and integrity of an up-and-coming salesman, and man, was that a good-looking truck. So the search continues, and we're driving the roads of Arizona in a 4.8 gas-powered half-ton Chevy pickup pulling a trailer. Oh, to dream of the big dog trucks and the big fifth wheels. If you've made it this far in the video, you're either incredibly bored, you've fallen asleep, or else you have a lot of knowledge about trucks and pulling trailers and the differences between gas and diesel. If you're that viewer, please leave a constructive comment below. I would sure love to hear your input and any perspective you'd have on the plan that we're looking at here. As you can see, this round trip around central Arizona went everywhere from cool, clear mountain mornings to 100+ degree desert temperatures, and now we're almost home again in the pouring rain. If you're not a subscriber, I'd like to ask you to subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Please leave a thumbs up, blah, 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 and share this channel with a friend. Really appreciate you having you here. We're almost home, so we're just going to enjoy the drive.